of Croco. He's just not that type of jungler. But you don't need to be. You just need to make sure that Croco doesn't run all over the map and absolutely dumpster on everyone. And this game, it wasn't just Croco dumpstering, it was Johan actively opting into multiple fights.
Yeah.
And it was kind of reminiscent of that Rek'Sai performance where it's just misexecution after misexecution after misexecution. And that's something that Hanwha Live, like, going into playoffs, they need to figure that out. Like, that is a problem that you cannot have. As there we see the Camille ban. Very happy about that one, because otherwise it might just have been a straight up pick here. Are they going to go for the Hecarim? That's my big question here.
Yeah, Croco could teach Johan a thing or two about how to play the Hecarim. We'll see whether they do decide to go for it. The other horse also available. Lilia also up. I'd like to see her take a little bit more priority. But we'll see whether Croco does just decide to lock it in. No, instead, he just likes the bear. Just feels like he understands how to get past Johan no matter what he's going to be picking. As there's the Lilia that I was talking about. And this does give Hanwha Live Esports a lot of ability to pick different things in their solo lanes, as there's Rel once again.
Yeah, I think Liiv Sandbox kind of shot themselves in the foot on this one, because if you pick the Hecarim, they can't go for Lilia, right? And with how Johan has been playing, I don't think you mind giving over the Udyr. I don't think he'll have a big impact on it.
Oh God, Yone?
Oh boy. I mean...
Is it time?
I mean, it might be time. Maybe a Kali. No, I mean, I'm joking. It's game 3, but there is, of course, an AP jungler, so we're not going to... No.
No.
We're not going to see that. Okay,
Okay,
thank
Rammus,
God.
much
just,
better. Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
It's just Chovy having a giggle. We're okay with that. So, Effort, his Alistar has been banned away consistently. This is perfectly fine. Like,
yeah.
I don't love this, but it's just like, it's good. Deft is going to play this well. It's a strong AD carry, arguably the strongest right now. So, completely fine. And yet again, Fate on his Syndra. I just want to go over like why I voted for Fate. I feel like even though Croco was obviously pivotal, like some of those early skirmishes were also augmented by Fate, and Fate just never seems to get any love. And you know,
I agree. I think
I really would have liked for him to have a little bit of love there. It was just me. I thought at least it would be. I would have been fine with a like 50-50 between Croco and Fate. I think that would have been fair. People are just not seeing it.
Not really a fan. That being said, I did respect the Chinese broadcast vote of Effort. I thought he also had a fantastic game, especially when he has been receiving so much criticism for a lot of his plays, and he was making some dunderhead moves, you know, in the earlier parts of the split, and has really turned it around. As there's the Aatrox ban against Chovy. I love it.
Not even kidding.
Like, look at the big grin on his face as well. He's like, ha, no. There we go.
Or is it a laugh if they fell into my trap? And here comes the mid lane.
Here comes the Yone.
Kled.
Is it the mid lane Kled? The mid lane Sion. Take that, everyone.
I like that they put Morgan back on this. I think that Morgan, even though he was having a rough game, was not the problem last game. It clearly was Johan, and also just the general, just the form of Hanwha Live. Besides Chovy and Deft, like we already talked about Vista as well. That has such a good early, like first game. Like, yes, he had one awkward moment where he got caught, but besides that, it was really good. Would love this. Sure,
all
yeah.
right.
I don't mind it as much. I think that the Xayah into the Lilia is nice because you can negate the ultimate with Featherstorm. And I think that, you know, after seeing Prince, it was very telling that no one gave Prince a POG vote, because even though he went like 12-1, it didn't feel like he had the biggest impact on that game. And I think the Xayah, oh yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. But listen, okay, no, because if you do this, they're going to flex away the Sion. And I guess then Morgan goes into a skill matchup, Aurelia for Summit, which is not going to end well. So I guess you win this. This is a win either way.
Yeah. I think picking aggression on the top side of the map is perfect for Liiv Sandbox.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I actually agree. I also, you know what I wouldn't have minded? I wouldn't have minded a Jace. Just because, like, I think Summit's Jace is insane.
Yeah, true. That's Mordekaiser. As I think we are flexing the Sion to the mid lane. That's what it feels like to me. And this is going to be their attempted answer into the Aurelia. We'll see whether it is going to work. I do want to reiterate, I know there's a lot of people that are going to be very upset with the fact that Chovy's playing Sion. One of Chovy's biggest strengths is to be able to flex all of these things into the mid lane. And his tank play has always been amazing.
Oh no, I don't mind this at all, right? Legitimately, like, I think Chovy...
I wasn't talking to you, don't worry. I was talking to everybody else who's going to be over on Reddit saying, why would you put Chovy on Sion ever? This is definitely his choice.
I was about to say, like, I guarantee, you saw that grin earlier on. I recognize that grin because that's the same grin he had last time the locked in mid lane Sion.
Yeah, exactly.
However, then it was with Olaf and Shen.
And like all AD damage and...
no, it was Tristana and then Olaf Shen, and that was it. So it was basically one damage source. And now, you know, you have Deft on Kai'Sa, which has a kind of a split damage profile. You have a lot of AP. Honestly, like, you might argue that you have too much AP and not enough AD, but if Deft just goes like the standard build where you go for an Infinity Edge and whatnot, like, you'll be fine, right? Like, it is completely okay.
I mean, it's 70-30 at best.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Of that damage
exactly.
is still going to be getting through.
That's completely fine. You have the damage, and Chovy's mid lane play has been, as you said, Chovy's tank play has been super good. And Cyan is one of those picks where you can also consistently find prio more so than with a lot of other tanks, meaning that he can actually like make plays on the map, which he loves to do, especially with the train. You know, train can go north, train can go south. It's all possible here.
Exactly. You're not end of the line like the top side of the map. You know, you can only really go down when that's the case. This time, he can certainly be piloting it wherever he wants. That being said, I mean, this Liiv Sandbox composition looks pretty stable and comfortable to me. And Hanwha Liiv Esports are going to be tested, absolutely. As Johan has found Croco here, trying to get a few Qs.
I'm not a huge fan of the Mordekaiser, but it's one of those picks where I feel like he's just not in the best of spots. I think the itemization change have kind of left him subpar. I assume Morgan's just going to rush a... Arm Guard and then maybe opt into something like a Rift Maker. You can also go Proto Belt. Like, those are your...
Def just going to walk into a Pulverize here. Happy to do so, as it turns out.
I mean, it's fine. You know, it's like... I think that level 1 for Liiv Sandbox is very, very weak. Knowing that Summit is on the top side and that Croco isn't there, like, just Fate, Prince, and Aphid do not scare you whatsoever.
It's going to walk over a ward. No, but he takes a safe route. I like it.
Smart effort. We love to see it. You know, it's something that, as you rightly pointed out, like, I think it's fair to give players criticism, but when a player has a development like this throughout the split, it's also something that should be pointed out. Mordekaiser's level 1, though, is still really, really good.
Yeah.
Summit, so be mindful of that. However, this also feels like the Summit sweet spot as Croco, baby. It's a vertical jungle. That's not good for Morgan.
No, it absolutely is not, especially if it's not scouted. I believe it was, as there is a ward on the Raptor, as you can see. But Morgan actually doing a decent job right here. There was a huge difference between LPL Mordekaisers and LCK Mordekaisers. I'm going to have to hold that thought as Prince is already lit on fire. Deft has been exhausted. Heal does come out. That's 2 summoners for 1. And you'll take that any day of the week, especially with the fact that this health trade was, you can see how much better it was here for Hanwha Liiv Esports.
And I love this because Hanwha Liiv know, like, we're in a vertical jungling situation, right? Like, they 100% know because this invade was spotted that Croco is clearing the top side of the map.
Yep.
Meaning that what you can do here as Hanwha Liiv is you can just... Deft and Vista can go full skill check. And I guarantee you, they will win that skill check every day of the week. Like, Effort and Prince, 100% are not going to win that. They might even look for a dive with the earlier play. Still level 1 for Prince.
Yeah, exactly. Prince is going to get dove on. There's the Attract Repel for the stun. Vista's going to go down. They trade 1 for 1 as the headbutt comes back onto Johan. And Deft looking to push another wave forward. So it was 1 for 1. I believe it might have even been first blood over to Prince, but he misses this whole wave, which is awful.
It's way worse. It's first blood over to Effort.
Oh, God. Okay, never mind.
Prince is still level 1. And we talked about last game, right? Listen. Oh, that's...
He's the only one.
Why did you have to show us that? That's just mean. Okay, but listen. As I'm saying... The problem with this is, last game we saw an early lead going over to Prince. That lead didn't really turn into anything. Deft is level 3. Prince just now hit level 2. Like, this vertical jungling is going to keep pressure on this bot side. And Hanwha Liiv, like, yes, this is very aggressive. I don't necessarily... If this kill goes to Prince, it might actually backfire on you. But fact remains that, like, diving like this and snowballing Deft like this in this specific matchup, I think is like a guaranteed win. Not even joking. Like, I think if Dead gets fed, this game is not playable for the bot side. That means you need to divert attention away from Croco, but that's kind of awkward because you want to give attention to Summit as well, right? Like, he's one of your main carries. He's the one who really gets it done.
Well, there is the Death's Grasp out from Morgan. Presses W. Does decently in this trade here. Okay, as soon as he pops the passive, the Mordekaiser feels a little bit better. But as you can see, not necessarily working out so far when it comes to actual farm difference. Although he does have a wave to pick up near his turret. It's still 12 the difference, as Johan is he's like, it worked out pretty well last time. Let's come in and do it again. As Croco is in the area this time, but not actually looking to do anything. There are camps on the map, and he's Udyr. It's just how that one works.
Clear camps, run fast. That's the Udyr way, and Croco is actually able to build up somewhat of a lead. Might be able to hit another camp if he's faster, but like I said, Chovy Sign is one of those tanks that can really reliably clear the wave. They're going to go in here though.
Yeah, looking for it potentially. Chovy just grabs himself a shield. He gets stunned up for a second, but I didn't really see too much happen there.
He didn't care.
Another Desperas comes back. Oh, Summit was so close to getting hit by that turret, but I assume he calculated that one. As Chovy's 1v2ing. Croco going to boop him just a little bit there, as the procs do a fair bit of work, especially to a Scion that only has health.
We talked about absorbing pressure. You know, generally it's top laners that do this, not mid laners.
Well,
but here we are.
Scion, I guess you get the same treatment. I don't know.
I can hear Veldus, like, cheering somewhere in the distance.
Yep. The biggest
he's
Scion
happy.
fan, the leader of the Scion fan club.
He most certainly is. As every time Scion does get through pick and ban, or gets through pick and ban rather, a Veldus cries somewhere. It's very unfortunate.
Scion is also winning in farm.
Yeah.
By a decent margin.
Seen that one before. That's just Chovy things, I guess. I talked about this earlier. Like that's that's the type one of those typical Instagram like very specific accounts, but then it's just like pictures of Chovy's CS leads. It's just like every time and every like the soft font, right? Like as he ults back to lane so he can catch another wave. We have like like in this girly type, like the handwriting type of font, and then it's just Chovy things when he hits like 300 CS at 25 minutes.
Well, I believe that happened in game number 1. And we'll see whether it happens on Scion in game number 3. That would certainly be interesting, as this push continuing on the bottom side, as Deft has a cull as well.
Yeah.
Which is almost halfway done at the same time. Doesn't have a lot of mana, so that's a little bit tough, as Lilia is going to find Croco, and he's going to give him a rough time. Watch out, Eat. Not really going to work here, as Croco just runs so dang fast with his phase rush active. Does get the flash out in a 1v1 scenario against Johan. Very nicely done.
Not allowed to face check brushes as Lilia into Udyr. That is a matchup that is playable if you are able to like continuously stay away and you have your passive stacked. If you walk into a brush where Udyr is and you don't have your passive up, you just kind of get killed. As we saw there, the flash keeps him alive here, and now he will have the ultimate available, so that changes it a little bit as.
Yeah, Chovy gets ulted. We're not going to get excited just yet,
no.
As Chovy's just going to walk back to the minion wave. Croco's coming in now. Maybe this could change things, as the flash is going to be available, uses it. And so Croco, with his drive-by, making things work. And I love this guy's early pressure that he has, and he's continuing to utilize it, as Vista was spotted there, I believe, by the Scryer's Bloom. And Chovy just, he's got shield buttons and just wants to press things. And he'll stand in this minion wave and lap it all up. No.
I like that little micro things as well, like Chovy really hitting the timing there on the decimating smash, because a lesser side mid might get it cancelled there by the Scatter the Weak.
Yep.
Right, but he just hits it, just in time. And that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for, as he will grab Prior of this wave. No Drake has been taken yet, and we haven't really talked about the team comps as a whole. I feel like this is yet again another example where you're just like, Hanwha life, get to mid to late game, on even footing, you're completely fine. That's basically it, right? Because...
And there's once again the Liiv Sandbox split push win condition of Summit, but it's feeling closer to game 1, even if it is not the same, right? Because Mordekaiser doesn't offer the same thing as a top lane Scion would when it comes to scaling. Is Morgan level 7 coming over, finds Croco, so we've got Chovy running it back in, but now won't have the ultimate for a potential Herald skirmish. Lilia is running over here, but this is going down relatively quickly. Fate in position, Vista coming on over as well. We may have a fight for this as Morgan does go in. Death Realm going to be there, so if it comes down to a smite fight, then it's going to be about the Mordekaiser and whether he can lock him out. Has now utilized it as Croco gets over the wall. Johan getting dashed on here as Summit taking a lot of damage. Effort takes down the Lilia though immediately as the Rift Herald is secured. Not entirely sure who managed to take it. It was Vista. He's going to be able to pick up the eye here as Chovy gets game played, and the stun going to be avoided, but he's still dead, ladies and gentlemen. Liiv Sandbox with all 5 members around that pit. They lose out on the Herald, but they win the fight decidedly.
And I'm not sure whether or not you're going to call this one worth, because what we did see there is that the Herald goes over, and I thought maybe they wanted to go for Drake here as well. Deft and Vista, I think, could have gone for it. I don't think there was really an opportunity for Liiv Sandbox to reliably contest there. But their skirmishing power early game is just straight up better every single time. I get the idea that what Morgan is trying to do here is just trying to keep Croco away and then give the rest of his team the time to do it. But Summit is an Aurelia post 6, right? So you know the moment that Johan actually steps up, which is what we're about to see here momentarily, he will get ulted and he needs to just do everything in an attempt to stay away. Then here again, Fate, the best secondary scatter the weak man that you could possibly wish for. As meanwhile, the way that Liiv Sandbox is able to kind of pull this skirmish apart and like don't create a mini front-to-back teamfight situation combined with Deft arriving very late, basically means that that was a 5v4 for the most part, right? And then I think if you get a great Herald off, it might actually I think they played, yeah, they dropped Herald on bot side, so that happened during the break as Vista no longer has it in his inventory, so that's more gold in the pockets of Deft. And again, a kill went to effort. Oh, look at Summit, look at that itemization. You love to see it.
The quick rush on the wits end, absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
That's Savant gaming right there.
Against a double AP topside. Oh, baby.
You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Liiv Sandbox have started off this Cloud Drake as well as Vista. Not able to even get in to get vision down. As you can see, Chovy moving towards it, but not going to be able to get there nearly in time. As there's a bunch of vision, actually, I believe, on the blue.
Oh,
Hanwha
God.
as well.
So this is the nightmare, right? Like, you're not going to get attention from your jungler. Johan is busy on bot side. And now Summit has a freeze here. And you can never walk up here as Morgan, because Summit is 100% going to all-in you, and he's 100% going to win. Because you have steel caps and an arm guard, and he's a finished wits end, right? And it's Summit, of all people. And, like, this is one of the ways where Liiv Sandbox, even if this game slows down, like Summit is, I can already guarantee he's going to build like 40, 50 CS lead. I don't know how much it's going to be, but like his side laning is going to be absolutely monstrous. And then you get the situation where even if you do find a team fight as Hanwha Live, if it's not decisive enough, you're still screwed.
Well, there's the Vanguard's Edge. Death Realm does come out once again as the Death's Grasp is actually decently done, as we'll see whether Morgan can actually make this one work. The stun's too good, though, and Summit easily takes that one down. That's a solo kill, and that's so comfy. Exactly the way Chronicler described it.
It's not even close. Look at his health bar.
Yeah.
Oh my, and there's Mordekaiser pick. I put my question marks on it. It's not meta for a reason. I don't think it's particularly strong. I don't know if Poppy is enabled. That's something that you can play into the Aurelia. I like the idea of the flex here, but then you do need to put Morgan on something that he's actually confident on, that he can like reliably withstand this matchup. And that's just not the case. And yes, of course, Aurelia is one of those picks where
I think Sion would have been better.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I'm making. Yeah. So I like the idea of flexing it, but then you need to actually have a reliable counter pick, right? You need to find something that actually deals well with this. And I think this Mordekaiser is not it. Summit is going to get, like, if you think he's ahead now, like, this is only going to get worse, right? Like, Aurelia, up till 2-3 items, just keep spiking harder and harder.
Yeah, and that's even, you know, she's probably going to grab Mythic third item as well, so even that spike is, like, getting more and more terrifying. I imagine Blade of the Ruin King will probably come through next as, yeah, I don't even know why we get a replay here, as it's just over before it even really starts. And yeah, Morgan's lane positioning just absolutely terrible.
And I think the plus side here for Hanwha Live, you do actually have a comp that can deal with Aurelia and team fights, right? Like, that's not a problem at all. You have a lot of CC. Morgan can go for a stopwatch and then just ult Summit the moment he goes in onto his backline and keep Deft and Johan alive. But this is where we kind of run into a problem, because the Hanwha Live comp, Chovy, maybe you go for Titanic to have a little bit more reliable damage, but generally the damage is going to have to come from Deft, Morgan, and Johan. But Morgan and Johan have had such rough games throughout this series, so I don't know if that's going to actually work out.
Well, maybe in Deft you trust.
That's a safe bet.
It generally is, but didn't work in game 2 and may not work here, as it's feeling like a very similar vibe to the second game of the series, and sometimes better top laner can win, as Deft is going to get stunned up. There's the Blade Surge, the Killer Instincts to get himself out of the way, and unfortunately for Summit, right as I say it, I cast a curse the heck out of Liiv Sandbox, and they throw away their top laner.
And that's, as we say, not it. Also, mind you that on the bot side, we do actually have Prince just picking up 3 plates and kind of getting back from that early game deficit that he was put into. It won't be a full pre-14 minutes played, but it still will be first turbo for Prince, who actually has a lead over Deft here. Now, Prince is not the type of player where like he has a lead, like this game is over. I don't think he has as much pressure, has as much presence on the map, and is going to be able to influence the game that much. But it's still a big problem, and this is just, yeah, I don't know about this one, Summit. Like, I think he kind of expected there to be less people, but even then, you're diving into the exact things you need to avoid, which is CC. Like, it's a rel. She's right there. You're diving on top of her. That's not allowed. That's not okay. We don't do that. If you find a crazy flank, you know, sure. If she's used the skills, okay. Not just straight up when she has all her cooldowns.
No, I'd agree with you on that one. But, you know, Summit just testing the waters, and sometimes when you're playing the Aurelia, you got to be more aggressive as opposed to passive, right? So
test the limits.
If there's a chance you can just pop right off, then maybe you should do it.
I think Aurelia's best played with like push it to the limit, you know, as a soundtrack. you're push it to the limit. And you really want to get in there. And I mean, thus far he's been doing it. Unfortunately, one time he actually dove into 3 people and died, but that happens.
Yep, and he's still mega strong.
Oh yeah, like it doesn't matter for his 1v1. Let's just clarify that. Summit is still going to win this matchup for like the next. I don't think that comes to the point.
Maybe forever.
I think it actually is forever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tough for the Mordekaiser to do anything. I don't quite know where the Mordekaiser power spike is. Maybe it's around a Baron pit when you can press ult on a jungler. Maybe that's his power spike.
Yeah, well, that's definitely one. Outside of that, I think that if you don't fall behind and you get steel caps and arm gut, that was traditionally one of the break points where Mordekaiser could actually challenge a lot of AD top laners. But like I said, I don't think the itemization changes have been very friendly to him. And I don't think he's in a particularly great place right now. And that's fine, but back-to-back, like... And this is the Hanwha Live rather that we didn't want to see, right? Like, remember their composition. Last game it was the Chovy and the LeBlanc, and the LeBlanc wasn't the problem, right? Like, that's not the core issue, and I don't think the Mordekaiser is the core issue here, but it does kind of further exacerbate your issues to a point where you're like, why would you go for that? And not just for, like you said, the sign, and just put Chovy in something else.
Yeah. That's a possibility. Fate is going to move towards the top side here. They're looking to crash down this turret. They should be able to do so pretty comfortably. They do give away a Drake, as it's not going to be Cloud Soul this game. It's Infernal Soul, in fact, as Deft.
Okay.
We'll grab all of the local gold for this bot lane turret. His cull is also cashed in, so that advantage you said Prince had early, while it was true for that moment in time, it is probably no longer the case. There's Kraken Slayer now online for Deft. See how quickly he can get towards that collector and start upgrading all of his moves. Well, not W actually, with the build that he's most likely going for, but you know what I'm saying.
I love evolved in like ARAMs, you know, like evolved W Kai'Sa. It's so funny. It feels very, very, very upsetting to play into. It's also not great, so of course has not been meta for a while now. As I think Liiv Sandbox, they're still going to be able to get this pressure on the map, but Summit does need to play mindful, because this is, I think, the one criticism you can levy towards Summit is that he knows he needs to carry, but sometimes he knows it a little bit too well and then leans into it a little bit too much. Yeah,
can be a little bit too much pressure that he has struggled with in the past. I completely agree. Crocker going to move on over, clears out this control ward as Liiv Sandbox. Trying to work out where they're going to hit next. It looks like mid lane as the K-Ram is upon us, as per usual. Morgan's going home. He's 45 CS behind, and that's only going to get worse as he is looking to build his next item. Let's see where he goes. It looks like it is going to be Riftmaker this time around. As Johan looking to try and find effort here. Voidseeker does hop onto the cow. They look to just grab themselves the ulti. Hanwha Liiv Esports not going to overextend at this point.
He'll use as well, though. So Prince actually had to use that just for certainty. I'm not sure if he needed to use both. I think just the Unbreakable would have been enough. Because Unbreakable will be up for the next Dragon fight, and that's yet again, like, I feel like we say this every time these two teams play, but yet again, that's a break point. Like that.
Yeah.
And it was a break point both times in the last couple of games, right? Like in game number 1, it was a clear break point for Hanwha Liiv. In game number 2, it was Liiv Sandbox who further pushed their lead from that Dragon pit onwards, and I think here it's going to be the case again. I think Hanwha Liiv still have a really good team comp, and
they may have spotted him one more time. This time they get the flash. Effort, just stepping out of line a couple of times in a row, and now without, I mean, he does have Hex Flash, so it's not exactly the biggest of problems, but being able to walk at someone and then flash up pole is actually you know, that's a huge boon for Sandbox, and now they don't have it for this next Infernal Drake fight, as Chovy, he has 3,000 health, so I don't know whether Croco and Summit are going to be able to kill him, but we'll have to see. Summit has wrapped around. He's now blast going his way forward, but a little bit of a disconnect between the jungle and top lane, so not going to close in on him or anything. Probably would have taken about 25 minutes to kill Sion as well.
So I think Summit always wins, especially with like Wits End combined with Blade the Rune King. But I think by the time you actually kill him, the rest of the team is also dead. So it's not the question of do you win the 1v1, it's more about
can it stay a 1v1?
Yeah, does Chovy care? And as we've seen, Chovy's Sion generally does not care about what you are doing. Chovy's Sion cares about what Chovy's Sion wants to be doing. Yeah. And I think that's the right approach. I also think that Johan, even with that early game, you know, like Oopsie where he went for the face check, outside of that, this is looking a lot more like game 1 Johan. And Hanwha Life seemingly have stabilized a little bit. And I think in a stabilized game, Hanwha Life, to me, will always have the edge. And Liiv Sandbox, they need to introduce some chaos.
Oh, speaking of which, Prince getting taken down very, very low. Doesn't actually pull the Featherstorm trigger. As Chovy with ult at the ready, looking to try and stop this one. Herald going to get knocked up into the sky. Scatter the Weak going to connect onto Johan only. And the Rift Herald will be able to get the charge down. Not going to be able to eliminate any turrets or anything like that. But now we've got 50 seconds before this Infernal Drake. And this, like you were talking about, this is going to be the important one as Morgan is a little bit slow, especially when it's in comparison to Croco. As Vanguard's Edge goes forward, lands only onto Chovy, who's just standing his ground. No joy on the stun, as now in goes the Realm. Vista immediately locks them all up. Effort gets into the backline, but Hanwha Life Esports have won the first start of this fight so beautifully, and Morgan getting some well-deserved vengeance onto Summit. Now Prince just trying to fight this one out. He held onto the Featherstorm for such a long time, and Deft was eliminated in this fight as Johan trying to escape this one, but it's the Decimating Smash, sorry, the Obliterate that is going to be able to lock down the Xayah, and that is an ace for Hanwha Life Esports.
Decimating Smash might not be the name of the ability, but it's definitely what it felt like.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling
with
too, man.
A vengeance coming in there. And there you do see the value, right? Because even with Chovy being half when this fight begins, Liiv Sandbox, this positioning is atrocious. Right? Like you're trying to funnel into a team composition with so much AoE damage, and then they try to back off. The re-engage comes through. This knock-up coming through from Chovy and Vista is just insane. And here you do see the value for Morgan. If Morgan doesn't ult Summit there, and Summit gets on top of Johan, this fight might go completely differently, right? But instead, he just finds the ultimate. Prince alone can't carry this fight. He needs the additional damage from Summit. And I think in terms of laning, the Mordekaiser is going to remain a problem, but you don't let him lane against the Aurelia. You just put Chovy in the side lane. He can tank whatever you throw at him. And these team fights, I think this might yet again be the point where you go back in the game and you're like, this is where Hanwha Life took the control back of this game.
There's also the point that Chovy can build only armor, and then whenever they go into a fight, you just ult Fate as Morgan, and you say, well, I mean, this is going to be rough. Hopefully I can press my Zhonya's button. But then Chovy is literally immortal.
Yeah.
And that entire time.
Honestly, Syndra into Sion is just, it's not going to kill her. Because the thing with Syndra is, even if you go for like...
she's not exactly a tank-busting mage or anything like that.
The main issue with Sion as well is that, like, his health bar becomes so absurdly huge that he doesn't actually, like, he skills very well with resistances, but health traditionally is really strong into mages because they rely on, like, just the raw base damage of their abilities, right? But then if you have a health bar that's insane and, like, Fate does one rotation and it does, like, 20, 30% of your health bar, you're like,
Did
even that.
go AFK?
What?
He's 3,000 gold behind. I mean, yes, Johan has been picking up kills and things all around the map, but it didn't feel like we were getting a diffy in the jiffy that's quite to this magnitude.
I actually have completely missed where this 50 CS lead has come from.
Yeah, right?
Like, I'm very happy you pointed out, because that one kind of slipped by me. I gotta imagine it's been...
I thought it was a typo.
Yeah,
it was not.
No, I gotta imagine it's from Croco, like, trying to get stuff done around the map and trying to make plays. And he was present for a couple of plays that backfired for Liiv Sandbox. So maybe that's why he was staking his claim, and maybe during that time, Johan was just farming camps, as Lilia does.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where once you get ahead, getting further ahead as Lilia is kind of your ammo and your general strength as well. It's really your forte, because getting ahead gets you more items, allows you to farm faster.
Oh dear. Chovy.
Oh boy.
He still has the ulti available as Death. Taking a lot of damage, but Killer Instinct gets him out. The flash going to get him out even further. Vanguard's edge into the backline as Chovy not actually in this fight. He's hoping that the rest of his team can take care of it. So far, not really working out. Summit, though, is going to be taken down as Deft finally gets back into the fight. It's a double kill for Morgan. I take it all back, please. Don't kill me, Mr. Mordekaiser, man, as Prince is going to get obliterated. And Fate, yes, he did survive. However, the rest of his team not so lucky.
And beautiful team fight coming out from Hanwha Liiv Esports. And this is a redemption arc within the game for this top side, right? Like, because we think, justifiably so, Morgan and Johan, they were the weak side. Not the weak side, they were the weak spot of Hanwha Liiv in the last game.
Oh, yeah.
But credit where credit is due. Morgan got absolutely smashed, but in these team fights, he has held himself expertly. Here, yet again, look at what Hanwha Liiv is trying to do. They want to go for the engage on Fate, but thanks to Croco and effort, the main part of Hanwha Liiv doesn't actually make it there. So Chovy's just off in the corner together with Fate. Summit goes in so deep here. And you know what will happen to these low health boss? You know what would happen to Deft if Summit was actually in this fight? They would be decimated.
Oh, yeah.
But Morgan, yet again, finds it. And I think that at Summit, this is where he's like, I need to buy a QSS right now. I need to pay my taxes. You know, there's no Skarner, but there's a Mordekaiser. And it's instead of the Scorpion tax, it's the spooky, scary Mace Man axe. And you need to pay
the
it.
Sauron axe, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Love that. Because thus far, not been doing it. Every time Morgan sees Summit, he says, I see you, and then Summit is, dragged into the realm and does nothing.
That's a way to counter it. Run real fast to get out of the Vanguard's edge. Summit not going to find any stuns here, and I don't know, I didn't realize that Aurelia had a use-by date, but I feel like she's starting to go off, unfortunately.
I think it's not even that. I think that Hanwha Liiv are just playing these team fights way, way, way better. Like, I don't think you can really put this one on Summit, because this is the nature of the champion.
I'm not saying that he's done anything wrong, but unfortunately, it feels like not enough has been done.
Oh, I agree.
As a teleport to get towards the inner turret. Unfortunately, not going to quite get there in time, as Fate had used the teleport in order to get himself out of that one. As there's the headbutt pole, they land the layer of CC, as Deft is going to go golden right at the last second. The Killer Instincts to get himself even closer to the action, which is probably not the best, but that's going to be a fantastic Blade Caller. Be able to wrap up a couple of kills here. The Xayah has already fallen, is now Effort trying to run away from the horse. Cow versus horse action. It's a barnyard as the bear is going to come through as well.
That's not what you want in the barn.
No, exactly. Please get it out of the barn. As Vista not exactly having the greatest time, but he has an Ignite, so he's going to be able to at least go 1-for-1 as now Morgan gets another one of these beautiful ultis onto Summit. That's a solo kill, by the way. I guess. I mean, there were no other assists, but he's going to be able to grab a double in the end. I'm never bad-mouthing Mordekaiser again in my life, dude. This is the best champion. It's like actually my original favorite champion of all time, but after the rework, I haven't really had as much faith, and I'm being made pay for it.
And this starts off amazingly for Liiv Sandbox. You don't want 5v5 fights, you want skirmishes, right? Like, find someone, blow them up, and move on. And that's how this starts out, but it takes so long. Right, the stalling is so well done here from Hanwha Liiv, because it's going to be first is Deft. He gets low, sure thing, but then he uses his stopwatch. So this is time buyer number one. Then you have Vista, who goes for the engage. Deft goes to the other end of the team fight, which, as you say, feels counterintuitive, but it kind of keeps Liiv Sandbox from moving up and down, because they think Deft is going to ult back, right? So they in preparation move up, and then here you're in a situation where, yeah, I mean, Vista's gonna die, sure, which is unfortunate, but just Morgan turning it around here, actually insane. Like, I did not expect him to do this well. The flash forward as well, that's personal. And this is, like, Morgan got trashed in this matchup. And I'm just like, he's playing these team fights impeccably. And I'm stand by my point. I think that the problem for Hanwha Liiv is, at this point, it's just the inconsistency. Like, night and day between Johan and Morgan. Between these two games. Like, I could not give you bigger differences. And in game number one, it was the same. They were so good as well. Just have these games, Hanwha Liiv. Just, listen, I have the solution. Just don't lose early game. And then, like, they will carry.
Goodness.
I know. I mean,
this
actually,
is why we hired you. It's analysis like that.
It doesn't even work, because Morgan did lose this early game. And he still pulled it out.
And he's still down 60 CS, right? And he's got a 700 gold bounty.
It's just a number.
Sometimes you gotta farm
man.
the champions, exactly. It's worth way more gold than these silly minions. That's the 5-head play.
My oh my.
He needs to tell that to Chovy, though. He's got the highest CS in the game as mid lane tank Sion. He's going to get headbutt pulved here. He almost... Oh! There's real health being taken. Almost. Sort of.
Took like 250 damage.
Oh, that's a bit rich. I don't know whether it was quite that
No,
much.
no, I was checking in the corner.
Oh,
It's like-
really?
yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it was like 150.
No. It was a little bit more. I think it
Okay,
was 200 and maybe... I don't know how much the shield is at this point in time. It's disgustingly much, I can tell you that.
Well, he's going to explode here. It's Croco.
Hi.
Yep, that's goodbye, Mr. Sion. He's going to get out of there with the ulti. And yeah, he's got a Gargoyle Stone Plate as well, so it's just going to be even worse. Infinity Edge completed here for Deft. So we do have Lord Dominic's, as well as the Gale Force, and the Essence Reaver here for Prince. He's still pretty strong.
Oh, yeah.
But
So
not quite enough, I don't think, as the 131 is in full effect.
And this is where the damage charts for Liiv Sandbox really start to hurt, right? Because I think naturally with a damage chart that they have, where like it's basically Summit and then also Croco and Fade, particularly Fade. That is why they're strong in the early game, because they get so much done. But like later in the game, your AD carry needs to pull his weight, and Prince, he's stable, but he just doesn't do that as much, right? So now you're in a position like I don't think that this Xayah is going to really make the impact in these late game fights, and then you're just lacking consistent damage, especially in front of this behemoth.
Yeah, exactly. Chovy's doing his best poke champion impression over the wall here, as you can see. Thankfully with the Lord Dominic's, Prince actually does, you know, respectable damage.
Yeah, it's something.
The Def does more, it feels like. Especially, you know, Summit melts now to Jeff's damage. He does, because he doesn't have any armor built up. He's built for lane and then, you know, Stridebreaker because it's busted, and the Blade of the Ruined King because Aurelia loves it. But still, you know, if Deft is allowed to free hit, the Aurelia doesn't last very long.
I gotta, like, I don't know what's happening on this game, but someone's got to honor Morgan for tilt proof. Like, that is...
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I can't get over being 0-2 and then... Like, it's one thing if you play well in team fights, which is how it started out, but then he started solo killing Summit in team fights, which is where, like, the question marks start coming out. Like, how is this happening consistently? And I think at this point in time, Liiv Sandbox, playing this front to back is really hard because the Aurelia just doesn't excel in this situation. Every one of your main threats, if they try to step up and do damage and try to get through one of these carries, is going to immediately get ulted by Morgan. Right, we don't see any QSSs yet. Would have loved to see that by, like I said, from Summit, because I think if Summit can get on top of Deft or Johan, he can actually still get work done. Like, he's still fed Aurelia.
And he can buy that cool mace flail thing.
Yeah, Silver Mid-On.
It's literally built for things like Aurelia.
It's really good. It's legitimately a really strong... Oh, that's cheeky.
Denial.
I mean, it's worth it. You want to take prior of mid lane so you can go and take your Infernal Drake. And if we thought, you know, maybe Hanwha's life composition might lack a little bit of damage, Morgan got fed, so that's not a problem. Johan is also fed, has his marks, as well as he's up to 4 items. Like, he's Flame Horizon Croco again. He just keeps getting away with it sneakily again and again.
I don't understand. Like, where did the extra 50 see it? Well, it's because they've been completely choked out of their jungle. It kind of makes sense now.
It does.
Still previously, I'm going to go back and watch the VOD and just see how Johan sort of like teleported around the map in order to, you know, get such a huge lead, but definitely very impressive. And look, we were actually talking a lot about Tilt yesterday, right? And mind games, mental fortitude, things like that. Hanwha Life are demonstrating it the same way DRX often do in their matches, where they're just able to find ways back into games or find ways back into a next game afterwards after a really disappointing loss. And yesterday, you know, it wasn't the same story in our first series of the night, but this time we're seeing what happens and the value of being able to keep a level head. And
I think that DRX is actually better at this than Hanwha Life, because DRX can do it within a game.
Oh yes, DRX are just, I don't think they understand what Tilt is.
Morgan and Johan do not have that capability yet, but again, the in-between games, like the coaching stuff or just their mental, it's super good. Like being able to bounce back, and I say not within this game, but Morgan got smashed, and here he is. And like, I think that the Mordekaiser, yes, you do need your items, but still that's not an easy feat to get ahead, or get back rather, and then get ahead of a fed Aurelia, because Summit has been just one of the strongest, I think, like carry top laners that we have currently within the LCK, which says a lot because we have a lot of great ones.
He's coming back to form, man. He is definitely coming back to form.
He really has. And then to have such a bad, not as bad as Johan in game number 2, but like such a rough game, and then come back like this, I think that's exceptional. Hanwha Live now have turned this gold lead into a 7k gold. They're going to be looking towards an Inferno as well. The front-to-back team fight is absolutely devastating, and I don't see how Liiv Sandbox get back into this one. It needs to be absolute hero plays coming out from either Prince or Summit.
Well, Chovy's about to say no as he ignores all of these stuns. Gets a nice knock up there onto Efu, who gets half health just by the Scion alone.
Keep the wave, keep the wave.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to try and barrel towards this inhibitor turret. Deft is there, free hitting onto it. Summit now looking to wrap around and grab himself an advantage. Effort very, very low right now as they want to try and take the Mordekaiser out of the fight so that Summit can get some work done. The Vanguard's Edge gets it at just the tip as there is the ulti out from Morgan, and he wants to try and punish Summit here. He's going to take him down to the GA so incredibly easily. Now Croco doing not a whole lot, and Vista still had the ulti, by the way, towards the end of this one. The turret's going to be taken down. Hanwha Live Esports, a beautiful lesson in team fighting by the end as Deft free hitting, gets a triple kill, dies, but that's the ace. The Crab Rave comes in, and Hanwha Live will be able to secure game 3.
And this is looking like game 1, Hanwha Live, the confidence to just say, guys, we can go for this, right? Like Chovy, he doesn't even need to actually hit the enemies, he just needs to zone them off.
Yeah.
So that the rest of the team can take
Chovy,
that
quickly,
away.
you need to farm 3 more minions so you can have the most CS in the game.
Do it.
Do it, quickly.
Please.
Oh no, where are they? Please wait for the minions. Chovy instead wants to get hit by a fountain laser, so we're not going to quite get there. But still, an incredible performance from Hanwha Live Esports in game number 3. Huge kudos to Johan and Morgan for turning it around. I think that, I think we were right to